surprising group are living in fear as they struggle to get hired despite a strong job market. Strong job market? What? Strong job market? Are you guys high? Well, anyway, that aside, what group do you think are living in fear and struggling despite the strong job market? Who is unhireable, I wonder? New graduates are struggling to find work despite recent data indicating a steady job market. Huh, weird. I had no idea that employers didn't want to hire useless brainwashed activists. I don't get it. Like, what's there not to like? For those graduating college, it's the most difficult time in a decade to get that first foot in the career ladder, according to the latest figures. Oh, come on, quit fucking bitching. When I was your age, I walked to school both ways uphill in the snow. Yeah, I bought a house for $25,000, like Aaron Clary's saying, with money I made from my paper route and bussing tables at the local cafe. So, you know what these kids are bitching about? They're bitching about entry-level jobs that require 10 years of experience. It's your fault you weren't working since you were 5 years old. The children yearn for the mines. You should have gone with some of your peers down into the mines. Why didn't you? Why don't you have 10 years of experience in this software that's only existed for 5? I don't want to hear your fucking excuses. When I was your age, I already had 10 years of experience in all this new stuff, even though it didn't even exist when I was there. Didn't see me making excuses. All right, that's enough of that. So young Americans are complaining that employers want years of experience even for entry-level positions. Yeah, a lot of that too. It's specifically to filter out people they don't want, because there's a lot of factors that employers can't consider. So they do it, but in a very roundabout way. So if they don't want to actually hire new college grads, they will do things like this to make sure that any new grad is automatically disqualified. Others are saying that they have plenty, or they're having to apply for over 60 jobs for finally landing a tentative position. Oh, wow. I actually know some people who'd be glad to trade places with you. Oh, wow. 60 jobs to land a position? Or 60 applications? Oh, my God. I know people who've applied to hundreds and haven't even gotten a call back. Man, this actually does sound like they have a pretty decent market. Overall, national unemployment remains a reasonably low 4%, but rises to 6.6% for new college grads, as the Department of Labor numbers show. Those numbers are bullshit, by the way. Because you know who's not counted in the unemployment numbers? People who gave up on looking. And there's a lot of those now. A lot. The figures show a rise from 6% employment rate for recent grads the same time a year ago. This is a wider trend that has seen entry-level hiring fall by a staggering 17% since April current year -6%, according to a study from LinkedIn. The bad news for new grads comes from stronger than expected jobs report earlier this year, which indicated the job market was holding steady amid the economic turbulence caused by Orange Man's tariffs. In fact, a lot of jobs may be coming back, again, caused by those same tariffs. But the economy added 139,000 jobs in May, above the Dow Jones estimate for 125,000. And how many of those were part-time seasonal jobs? Probably most of them. Almost all of them, I would be willing to bet. But despite the better than expected numbers, it was still a retreat in job growth from April, signaling remaining uncertainty as to where the U.S. economy is headed. Although young graduates tend to have higher unemployment rate than those who have been in the workforce longer, the gap is only widening. Let me just point out, this only is the case if you consider recent college grads and everybody else. Because if you, once you're past 50 or 55, if you lose your job in your 50s and you're not a big name in your field that's in high demand, good fucking luck. finding another job at that age. Yeah, these college kids think they have it tough, but just wait till you're boomers. Yeah, it's Jover. That's right. The employment conditions for recent college grads have deteriorated noticeably in the first quarter of the year, according to a recent report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. This included college graduates aged 22 to 27 who've been in the workforce slightly longer. Unemployment for this group averaged 5.8% the first 3 months of the year. This is the widest gap between young graduates and the broader population in 35 years. And it's only going to get wider just because current year college grads are HR ticking time bombs. You got to be very careful if you hire anyone below a certain age. You got to make damn sure they haven't been indoctrinated. The last thing you want is someone who only views your company as a platform for their activism. Economists are blaming the general slowdown in hiring that is hitting new graduates hardest because layoffs for those already employed have remained low. This makes it harder for those without work to find it as companies look to tighten their belts in the face of economic headwinds. Oh, absolutely. So you do have a few exceptions, like the game industry, for example. They're suffering from massive, well-deserved and earned layoffs right now. But yeah, most industries, that they may not be firing people, but almost every place out there effectively has a hiring freeze right now. Like, they're not getting rid of their existing employees, but they're not bringing any new ones on either for the most part. So this is a good place to be in if you already have a job. But if you're just now starting to look, you're kind of fucked. Yeah, reading like crazy at people saying they deserve it. That just makes us laugh harder. Yeah, and the next time you see a game dev bitching that they lost their job, just show them that clip from First Descendant with that girl jiggling her ass dancing, and say, maybe if you gave us that instead of the slop you did, you'd still have jobs. Just a lesson for next time, if there is a next time. Businesses are hunkering down, and that creates challenge for young workers entering the labor market for the first time. That's true. I have nothing to add about this one. There's no lies detected. Employers are less willing to take a punt on hires with less experience and thinner sets of skills at the moment. Plus, they're also more likely to be loudmouth HR ticking time bomb activists. Don't forget that. I think I could be good at this, but I haven't been given a shot yet. Recent graduate Kirby Child told the Journal about her job search struggles. Well, everyone says that, but very few can actually deliver. Child said one of the biggest barriers is that employers now want years of experience, even for entry-level positions. Yeah, welcome to the club. Even as old as I am, this was a problem when I was a recent grad. It's not like it's a new thing, trust me. I don't know when it started because it was already the norm when I was entering the workforce, but it's not new. I'm going to tell you that much. I don't have those 3 to 5 years of experience, and it feels really hard to get that, the 22-year-old lamented. Well, you should have been working in the mines since you were 5, and it wouldn't be a problem. Zara Anwar, who graduated with Chad from Lehigh University, I wonder if they just sat around getting high. This year said she has applied for over 60 jobs for finally landing a position. Yeah, if you're bitching about this, again, I know people who've applied to hundreds and didn't even hear back. If you only had to apply to 60 jobs and you already got a position. No, thinking back, the last time I was unemployed, I think I applied to around 200 jobs or so before I landed my job. So even back then, when the market was allegedly better, man, to be able to land a job with just 60 applications, that's pretty good. I don't know what you bitching about. However, her employer has pushed back her start date more than once. Oh, you know what? I take that back. Maybe you didn't even find a job after all. Oh, shit. I work for myself. I can only hope, my job actually does start in August. I truly don't know. The cognitive science graduate told the publication. I mean, at least it's not a grievance studies degree, so I'll give her that. Yeah, and another danger as well is if you have if you work by yourself, for yourself, when you finally do land a job, it's got to be a job that's willing to work around your other work. Because, like, especially if you've spent years building up your own business and it's finally making decent money, like not enough for you to live off of yet, but good, and it's still growing, you don't want to sacrifice it and shut it down for a fucking day job. At least not until you're sure it's going to fail. So that makes it even rougher, man. Guy Berger, director of economic research at the Burning Grass Institute think tank, agreed that the hiring slowdown is the biggest factor in making it hard for graduates to find work. The situation could be even worse than the statistics led on, since most of this year's college and high school graduates are not yet registering in the unemployment statistics yet. The national unemployment level also managed to remain low in May because fewer people were registered in the workforce. That's exactly what I said. This doesn't count the people that gave up. Work habits of Gen Z, those born between 1997 and 2012, are increasingly under scrutiny. Bosses are firing Gen Z in record time, a recent study revealed. If this is because they would rather do activism than work, I sympathize with the bosses, to be honest. But if it is some more bullshit reasons, I'm sorry, you got to deal with that. Oh, yeah, any tips for the younger? Oh, man, look, at this point, I don't even fucking know. All the advice I would have had a few years ago, it's all been completely upended by like the tariffs, by AI. A lot of shit is happening that I don't think anyone predicted. Regardless of what you do, make sure you have multiple sources of income, even if they're small. Like that is the best thing I can say, because even if you lose one of them, the other one, I mean, at least it'll be a good cushion, if nothing else.